that in every life there is death and rebirth. Life cannot be renewed without sacrifice. Now I ask you, my daughter, mi preciosa, my young goddess, will you bring light to the world? 1. Each fall, millions of delicate orange and black butterflies fly more than 2,000 miles from the United States and Canada to overwinter in the mountains of central Mexico. The annual migration of the monarch is a phenomenal story, a miracle of instinct and survival. Esperanza Avila had told the story so many times over the years that it was accepted as truth, even by herself. She'd meant only to blanket her granddaughter's frightening loss, not to mislead her. She saw the story she'd created as a safe, happy cocoon for her to grow up in. But in the end, she'd created a lie. Now she was caught in her own trap of deception. The only way out was to tell Luz the truth, no matter how painful that truth might be. Esperanza counted the strokes as she brushed her long white hair in front of the bureau mirror. Morning light fell in a broken pattern across her room. Her gaze fell upon an old sepia-toned photograph of herself and her second husband, Hector Avila. She paused her brushing as she gazed at his brilliant smile, his hair that waved like the ocean he loved, and his eyes that were as impossibly blue. Hector Avila had been the love of her life, taken too soon from her. When she was a younger woman, her raven hair flowed down her back to swirl around her hips. Hector had loved her hair, whispered to her how it was like a waterfall at night that captured the reflection of the stars. He used to wind her hair in his hands, wrap himself up in it when they made love. Even after all these years, closing her eyes, she could remember the feel of his skin and her hair like silk pressed against her body. Opening her eyes again, she saw that her long hair was no longer the lustrous skein that Hector had relished. So many seasons had passed since those halcyon days, so many joys, and so much sadness. Her hair was a blizzard of snow falling around her shoulders. She pressed the brush to her heart as it tightened. Where did the time go? Suddenly the room felt like it was tilting. Esperanza closed her eyes and grasped the bureau for balance. She was tired, she told herself. She didn't sleep well the night before. Ever since she'd received that phone call from her daughter Maria, old memories and worries had plagued her. They spilled over to her dreams, haunting her, and lingered after the pale light of dawn awakened her. Her troubled gaze traveled across the other photographs on her bureau, resting on a small silver frame that held the treasured photograph of her daughter Mariposa, aglow with happiness. In her arms, she carried her baby. Luz couldn't have been 6 months old, but already her pale eyes shone as bright as the sun. Tears filled Esperanza's eyes as her heart pumped with love for this child, who had been a gift to her in her later years, after Mariposa had vanished. Hector, she said aloud, I need your wisdom now more than ever. I could bear this hardship alone, but Luz, she is 21, no longer a child. Still, I can't endure to see her hurt. I've told Luz so many stories about her mother, but now this. What words can I say to make her understand these truths? She shook her head with grief. How will she not hate me? She finished gathering her long locks in fingers that were gnarled from age and hard work. While she methodically wound the hair like a skein of wool, her mind reviewed her plan to tell Luz the truth about her mother. She needed uninterrupted time and a safe place to tell her granddaughter the story from beginning to end. Her hands trembled as she finished pinning the thick braid of hair securely at the base of her head. Taking a steadying breath, she opened her drawer and pulled out the amber plastic medicine bottle she kept hidden behind socks and underwear. She didn't tell Luz about the pills that kept her heart from skipping its beat. Luz already had to worry about too many things for a girl her age.